Hey, Bill. Good morning.
Morning. How we doing?
Great. Before we get to the Jets, I wanted your informed opinion on two players that you coached and an athletic competition between the two of them. So Thursday on this show at Boston College, it is Wiggy versus Christian Fauria. Jugs machine, 20 to 35 balls, 25 to 35 balls. Who catches more? And with your informed, knowing both players as you do.
Yeah, I mean, hard to get dragged into that one. A lot of time's expired since those guys have played, but yeah, just catching hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put a Wiggy up there with anybody.
Yeah.
Nice, Wigs.
All right. I mean, no disrespect, of course, to Christian Fauria, but
No, but yeah, I would take Wiggy's hands against really probably pretty much anybody. He had really good hands.
Wow, Wigs.
Oh, thank you.
all right.
I couldn't block anybody, but I could catch.
I never said that.
No. I understand, but that was one thing I had to continue to work on.
Did you get a chance to do anything non-football related over the weekend, Bill?
Oh yeah, it's always good to get a little break and relax and rest a little bit, and now we're back at it, so I'm ready to go.
Bill, watching the games yesterday, I loved watching the game in Germany, but I know some people don't love it. As a head coach, do you like that? Do you like the games overseas and watching all the fans from, Europe come out to watch the teams?
Yeah, I didn't see that, but yeah, wherever they schedule them, we play them, so I'm good on that.
Bill, when you look at what you guys were kind of able to, especially as a coaching staff, maybe look at during the bye week, what are some of the areas that you feel like, we need to obviously continue to get improve on and get better at, or what are some of the areas that you do well? Clearly, you guys do a great job of taking the ball away and have to consistently work on to keep doing that at a high level.
Right. Well, all the things that are always important, remain important. So points, turnovers, penalties, execution, fundamentals, all the above. That's the start of the list. That obviously extends into a lot of other little details and areas, but all the things that fall into those categories they're the highest priorities, and then you just work your way on down.
Bill, I saw that David Andrews back at practice after the concussion. How important is a healthy David Andrews to this team?
Well, it's good to have as many healthy players as we can. So happy to have all of them out there, and as many as possible. I mean, David's obviously played a lot of football for us, really good player, but and happy to have him and everybody else that can be back out there.
Bill, when you look at where you guys are in the sense of being able to create sacks and get to the quarterback, is that a scheme or is it more about, guys winning their individual battles?
Well, yeah, I mean, in the end, everybody's got to beat somebody to get to the quarterback. There's not many times where you just have, the offense doesn't block somebody, maybe on a blitz or something, but that's unusual. So, yeah, it comes down to, winning one-on-one pass rushes or sometimes 2-on-2s or 3-on-3s, however you can create those, and then the execution of the group. But as we always talk about, pass rush is affected by pass coverage, and pass coverage is affected by pass rush. So it really comes down to team defense. If we're getting to the quarterback, that means the coverage is good. If we're covering well, then that means the rush is good. So it's hard to cover them forever, and it's hard to get to the quarterback if the receivers are open. So you really need to blend those together.
Bill, you look at some of the struggles that the offensive line has had so far this season. What do you do to get them back on track for Sunday?
Well, that's, again, the same for every player and every group, continuing to work on consistency, fundamentals, and, the communication and execution that goes with those. So assess every position, whether it's the skill positions, the interior positions, secondary, punt protection, kickoff return. That's what football is. It's individual fundamentals combined with the unit execution that's involved.
Bill, you hear a lot of people say that you're the Jets' kryptonite, and obviously you got to win the last time, but now they're rested. You guys are rested. They're coming off a really impressive win over the Bills. What is it about Zach Wilson that has impressed you that maybe, the common fan or even us sitting here right now don't see?
Yeah, I don't know how you can not see it. I mean, they won 6 games. He's really athletic. He's got a good arm. Made a lot of big plays for him with his legs and his arm. They use a lot of on the line of scrimmage decision making with the quarterback, RPOs, some checks, things like that. So, the Jets are a good team. They got a lot of good players. He's one of them.
Bill, last week you said that the Jets and Colts players had at times diagnosed your plays pre-snap. How common is that in your experience coaching the Patriots?
I think you see some of that every game. Good players make good plays. Sometimes they anticipate things and make them, and sometimes they guess wrong or anticipate wrong. Same thing as coaches. They make certain calls anticipating one thing, and sometimes you're right, but not always. So,
who's the most sort of responsible for that occurring? Is it the play caller, the quarterback? How do you sort of divvy out blame for those things?
How do we divvy up? What's that? I don't really understand.
Responsibility for the other team diagnosing the play pre-snap. Is that not mixing up the plays enough? Is that something the quarterback should be able to see? Is that the play caller, the head coach?
Oh, no, it could be a number of things. Defensive players study offenses, and sometimes they get a certain tip on, a player's mannerism or his stance, or it could be a formation, or it could be a play that they've seen previously that they identify. And if it's the same play, they're right, and if it's the complementary play, then they would be wrong. But that's part of instinctive, intuitive football. Whether you want to call it, anticipating the play, knowing the play, it's a matter of semantics. That's what instinctive good players have a knack for, and sometimes that can be, communicated to the team depending on how, what it is, or sometimes it's just an individual that sees a certain thing and he anticipates it. Which is probably more the case in the last couple games with, Mosley and Leonard. There were a couple plays where they just, I don't know if anybody else saw them. It didn't look like it, but they did, and that's what makes them great players.
Bill, what are some of the advantages or disadvantages playing a team that you just played a few weeks ago? Now, obviously, you're going to face the Jets. Is there an advantage to that, or is there a disadvantage when you look at that? What is the one thing that maybe stands out, or the couple of things that stand out in such short period of time?
Yeah, I think you got to start all over again. And, we spent last week, all of our time, learning and watching the Colts, and that's over. So now we have to put that behind us and refocus on the Jets, and it's going back and studying for another final exam. I'm sure they'll do some things differently. They've had some time to do that. We've had some time to make some adjustments and changes. So we'll see how this game plays out. I'm sure it'll play out differently than the last time we played them. Just the way the plays match up and what they're in, what we happen to be in on particular plays, and we'll see what happens. Anytime you play a team twice, 3 times in the division during the year. Those games each game takes on its own personality and specific circumstances.
Speaking of the Colts, were you surprised that Jim Irsay named Jeff Saturday the head coach?
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that, what they're doing. Just trying to concentrate on our team and work on the things we need to work on. So, yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask them about that.
One of the guys on your team didn't really take the weekend off, Devin McCourty, as a guest analyst on CBS yesterday. Were you able to watch that? Do you have a grade for him, maybe?
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
Bill, last night, obviously, I don't know if you saw the game. You probably didn't because, like you said, you were preparing for the Jets. San Fran and the Chargers playing. Dre Greenlaw gets thrown out of the game. And I know you said this before that, all plays should be reviewable. I think they were trying to say a defenseless receiver. Do you think the NFL gets to the point one day where that's something that they maybe change the rules to, because he was a key factor for the defense? Do you see the NFL ever getting there where, with your reviews that you can review everything?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not my decision. But are you saying where every play is challengeable?
Yes. Sorry about that. Every play is challengeable.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I've been in favor of that. I'm not in favor of adding more challenges, but challenging the plays. It's just like in the Buffalo-Minnesota game. In that 2-minute situation with on the Gabriel catch on the sideline, like that play could have been reviewed by the officials because it was in the 2 minute. It was under 2 minutes, and either it wasn't or they missed it or whatever you want to characterize it. I don't know. But to me, that would be an example of a play that the team, should have an opportunity to challenge if they want to and if they have a challenge left. So, again, there have been other examples of that, plays that have been occurred in situations where teams couldn't challenge because there was, in 2 minutes or, the rules prohibited those plays from being challenged. I get the forward progress and things like that you can't challenge. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying not having the ability to challenge a play that could impact the outcome of the game. Even calls like holding and pass interference and things like that. I don't see why those plays can't be reviewed. But again, it's not my decision, so it is what it is.
All right, Bill. Well, we will let you get to work, and we will look forward to talking to you 1 week from today. Thanks.
All right, sounds good. Have a good week.
All right.